Strong and the Geek. Welcome to the Strong and the Geek podcast. Strong and the Geek. So we are your weekly fill of all things pop culture, movies, TV, comic books, pretty much any other thing you can think of the world in geek, and occasionally the thing about Strong.
You might want to turn that down. I'm sure talking about it is starting to cut out your audio.
No way, dude, we're talking about it, and trust me, I'm much louder.
It is appropriate
than who even sings this song? This is Funky Town by Lips Inc. Get it?
By Lips Inc.
Lips Inc.
Yeah.
We have a very good show for you today. We will be discussing a top 5, a weekly top 5.
Yeah, 5th week top 5.
Woo!
Episode 40.
We are close to one whole year.
Yeah, and maybe we'll have to do something special for that.
Maybe.
Maybe our first drunk episode.
Who knows? And actually, that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
But yes, this week we will be discussing the top 5 most questionable pop culture duos. But before that, long before that, and as I forgot to mention, didn't I? I'm your host, Josh Ramirez.
Oh, yeah.
And as always is with me my special guest co-host, not Veronica Mars.
I certainly am not Veronica Mars. I don't even remember who that is. I know it was a show.
Yeah, and I think a movie.
Did she wear a wig? Or am I thinking of Alias?
Are they not the same?
No, I don't think so.
I think the premise is the same.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to go back and Google who Veronica Mars is and be like, oh, wait, that was something completely different.
You know the one that I always go back to? You remember The Secret Life of Alex Mack?
No.
Oh, it was a Nickelodeon show where
Was it like Pete and Pete?
No, she was an alien and she like turned into a puddle. She had like other magic powers.
No.
Yeah, it was like Clarissa Explains It All, but if Clarissa Explains It All, it was an alien with magic powers.
What was the one with the cousin, who the cousin was a puppet? The black family with the cousin who was a puppet. Cousin Skeeter or something?
Oh, shoot, that does sound familiar.
Wasn't it called Cousin Skeeter?
Was it just like a play on the Steve Urkel, but if Steve Urkel was a puppet?
No, the puppet was cool.
Was the puppet cool?
It was kind of like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, sort of, that the puppet came and moved in, but the puppet was cool.
Oh.
But for some reason, he was like their cousin that moved in after his mom and dad died or something. But he was a puppet.
Oh.
And I don't think they ever addressed that in the show.
Don't remember that. At least not enough to talk about.
Okay, well, for a second, while I look up the show, because I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, you tell the lovely studio audience, and also our listeners, what'd you get into this week?
All right, well, okay, look. There's something that I need to address, I need to talk about, and it is going to be, oh yeah, Cousin Skeeter, look at that.
Megan Good was in it. Cousin Skeeter.
So, I'm gonna say something right now, and I don't know how you feel about it, but just follow me on this. I think last week's Arrow episode, which we haven't talked about yet, called Spectre of the Gun, was heavy-handed, was ham-fisted, and it was bad. It was just straight up bad.
Heavy-handed and ham-fisted?
Yeah. One of them was a heavy hand made out of ham.
Did it have a bird in the hand worth twice in the bush?
Yeah. No. Maybe?
Did it give
Was the bird a canary?
Did it give oh, well done. Did it give a hand job?
Yeah.
Did you give it a hand?
No, I had a hand job while I was watching it, but it was one of those self-hand jobs. Anyway, I think they call it masturbate?
No, it's an SHJ.
Ah, okay. Well, in any case...
An OTP SHJ.
OTP?
Over the pants.
Oh, yes. All right, so, tangent. I'm pretty sure there's some, like, group somewhere that, like, they feed the homeless, and they're like, oh, now we gotta change our name. We didn't realize that OTPSHJ, like, we were just naming our organization after the founders.
You give me a long enough time, and I can think of a good acronym for the homeless about that. But it'll probably take 2 or 3 episodes. All right, go ahead. Arrow.
All right. So, yeah, Spectre of the Gun was their, like, PSA, like, a very special episode, like we used to have in 80s and 90s sitcoms. You know, where it was like, oh, don't go in the refrigerator. You might get locked in there and freeze to death.
Okay, and this happens in comic books, or at least used to happen in comic books a lot. So.
Yeah, and I know that Arrow has been one that has done that, especially with drugs. There was that one issue that was banned from back when it was the Green Arrow and Green Lantern.
Right. It wasn't. It was a Neil Adams one.
Where Red Arrow is like the cover was Red Arrow shooting up and Green Arrow yelling, oh,
I don't know if that's
my sidekick's a junkie.
I don't know if that's
and it was banned and then reissued.
I don't know if that's I'm not sure if that's the cover, but I know that definitely is a panel that they walk in on Roy shooting up.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was banned. I know it's like a great...
Yeah, I remember watching a documentary where they were talking about.
Well, that whole run is of Neil Adams' Green Lantern and Green Arrow run is great. So
yeah. But in any case, well, that's an odd pair too, isn't it? Ooh, spoilers.
I think they're appropriate.
They're both green,
and they, go ahead. Continue.
But in any case, so in this episode, there is a mass shooting that has nothing to do with any of the bad guys or anything like that. It's just an unhinged guy, and because of that, the Green Arrow has to deal with it from the perspective of the mayor, Oliver Queen does, because the shooting is in direct response to the fact that the city failed to pass an anti-gun bill, right? And he's saying like, oh, you're not going to pass this anti-gun bill. I'm going to show you what happens if you don't restrict gun rights by murdering innocent people. He's doing like an activist sort of thing. But really, it's in response to his wife and his kid got killed in a home invasion or something like that, and or a shooting, and so he's completely unhinged, and he's trying to stop someone else from doing the same thing by doing the same thing. It's
pure comic book villainy.
Yeah, it's poorly put together.
No, not necessarily.
In any case, the episode basically follows this argument between Mr. Terrific and Wild Dog about the merits of gun ownership. Mr. Terrific says guns are bad. Wild Dog says, I use guns literally every episode. And he thinks guns are great. And we get a little tidbit that shows that Wild Dog used to be married and had a daughter. And there was a home invasion and his wife got shot. And so his daughter was taken away for child protective services because they don't think that she's safe to live with him because he's unhinged now, and he can't keep a job or whatever. In any case, they tried to make the character a bit more deep, which is fine, but the episode as a whole, I think, was just too preachy. And here's the thing, you can't give me both sides of that argument, and at the end of the episode, Oliver agrees to a deal with this city councilwoman or whatever who was in the way of the bill because she is for gun rights, and they agree to a bill that is great for gun owners and great for people who want to be safe. And it's like, writers of that show, you can't just say that you came up with a magic bill. You know what I mean?
Did they explain what the bill is?
No, okay. Of course they didn't, because then they would like probably submit that to a congressperson. They just said like, in this universe we figured it out.
Well, that happens, but that does happen in. I mean, I'm saying it is a little sloppy, but it does happen in fictional universes. Like they cure cancer and shit all the time.
And here's the worst part about it: in a show where you routinely kill bad guys every single episode. I know Arrow doesn't, but Diggle's got a gun. Wild Dog's got a gun,
and they're not firing.
Ragman is throwing people around.
They're not firing blanks. That we know.
No, if they were firing blanks, people wouldn't be going down.
I mean rubber bullets.
They might be, but they never say explicitly that they're using rubber bullets.
Because that would be annoying. That would be like, oh, by the way, we're shooting rubber bullets.
Well, no, all they have to do is put in a scene where Diggle's
they're loading
the first time, or like the first time Diggle points the gun, Arrow goes to put his hand down, and he goes, "Don't worry, Oliver, I'm not a killer," and he shoots it. You know what I mean? And later on, he's like, we see Oliver step down, and he goes, rubber bullets, in his Batman voice.
Yeah.
Simple scene that would have just informed the characters, but because we don't have that, we have to only assume that while Oliver has declared that he's not a killer, Diggle and Wild Dog, because they're ex-military, they're like, oh no, we don't give a shit.
I would like if they took a page from the Dark Knight Returns book where, pun intended, where the mutant leader sees all his guys getting shot and like blown away basically by Batman, and then he looks down and picks one up and it's like, rubber bullets, all that power, and you don't even use it to kill. Like, yeah, that would be like, okay, that would be like written in there, like, oh, the bad guys would definitely notice.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I'm like, you have a show where guns are used on screen every single episode, and you're gonna tell us that guns are bad? And I'm not for guns,
right?
But it's a little disingenuous, right?
No, well,
If
no.
you want to make
Hold on.
that case, then make your character stop using guns.
But hold on, no. But the reason why my only argument would be that Arrow in particular has, like, as a comic book, has always had political commentary, not just necessarily as Oliver's side of being like a liberal championing like the poor people, but also the opposite. It always prevents the opposite. And actually, Green Lantern and Green Arrow was a good dichotomy of that, because Green Lantern is way more conservative as being literally a space cop.
Yeah.
So what I think maybe they're trying to do is show that the two sides of it, that, okay, we can't totally say guns are super bad and don't do it, because then we're freaking hypocrites. Like, the same thing with, like, Batman tries to tell people that there's got to be a better way than violence, but sometimes violence is needed, and then he beats criminals to a pulp.
Yeah. Finally, moving on from Arrow, because, again, like I said, I just didn't like it. I felt like it was too heavy-handed. If they wanted to have a message in there, that's fine. But you can't really literally name your episode Spectre of the Gun.
Yeah, that would... No, and definitely don't say Spectre, because that makes me want to see the Spectre in it.
Yeah. Well, and don't throw the word gun in the title of the episode.
Or Spectre.
If you want to have a theme that, like, hey, two of them are arguing as to the merits of gun ownership, then don't make your entire episode about gun rights. You know what I mean? Like, make it more subtle, more nuanced.
And include the Spectre.
And include the Spectre, sure. Speaking of characters in the DC universe that a lot of people may not know, Supergirl this week was their Valentine's episode. It was actually a bit of a week late. And they had Mr. Mxyzptlk. It's
Mixes Pitlick.
Oh, they called him Mixie on the show for short.
Yeah, it's Mixes Pitlick.
Did you watch it?
I did not. I didn't know Mixes Pitlick was on there. That's awesome.
Yeah, they randomly threw it in at the end of not this episode, but the one before. Kara and Mon-El are about to kiss for the first time. Well, not the first time because he was sick, but you know what I mean.
Right.
They're about to kiss, and then Mr. Mxyzptlk.
Mixes Pitlick.
Mixes
Pitlick.
It's hard to say.
Just call him Mixie.
He just pops into the room. Now, he doesn't look like a weird impish little guy. He kind of looks like Chris Angel in a weird way. He just pops into the room and he's like, Kara Zor-El, I love you. Like, marry me. And she's like, what? And then this episode is all about how he has watched her from the other dimension. He fell in love with her and he's trying to get her to marry him. And because she won't, he's going to destroy the world. So she has to kind of trick him into
saying his name backwards.
Yeah. Or, in this case, she tricks him into writing his name backwards.
Oh, yeah. No, Superman does it all the time.
And so he has to disappear.
Okay, for any of you who don't know Mxyzptlk, so he is in the fifth dimension. There are these the race that lives there are these little imp guys.
They're godlike in their powers.
They have no limit on the powers that they can use.
They can
to
basically
manipulate
rewrite reality
in other dimensions.
Yeah.
So
in the same way that you can like change the path of an ant in an ant form, they can just do whatever they want.
So they are Superman. He's originally a Superman villain. And a villain or just kind of a nuisance for Superman. So he comes, and he comes every 3 months. That's like his when there's the barrier between the dimensions that he can hop through. So is
that like a solstice thing?
Sort of, yeah. It's like every 90 days.
He's basically a trickster god.
So he
likes to play tricks on Superman because Superman is the
most
strongest.
powerful being. Yeah. So the way to get him is the imps. If you get them to say their name backwards, they get automatically transported back to their dimension and have to wait for the next 3 months. So, funny enough, Mxyzptlk in the Superman animated was voiced by the guy who did Iago, Gilbert Gottfried.
Really?
Yep, he's the
Gilbert
voice
Gottfried did
the voice of Mxyzptlk. Yeah.
Yeah, this was a very different take on old Mixie.
And I am a big fan of the wacky characters like that. So Mixie's one of my favorite Superman villains.
I know you're a big fan. So he was on this week's episode of Supergirl.
Cool.
Now, we haven't seen Flash yet. Both of us haven't gotten around to watching
Gorilla City,
which aired last night.
Yeah, part 1. It's a two-parter.
So I'll probably watch it tonight when we're done recording. And we'll talk about it. If it's good enough, we'll talk about it next week. But I'm glad that we're getting some stuff outside of the regular DC universe. We got Mxyzptlk.
That was better.
And Gorilla City coming in. That's pretty good.
The one I still can't do well is I still can't say his name backwards though. Kliltikpixism. It's something like that. I can't say his name backwards. Well.
Yeah. The way that Kara ended up getting him to do it was he had to write it down pressing these buttons at the Fortress of Solitude, so it was in Kryptonian, and he doesn't read Kryptonian.
Right.
Although they did do a pretty neat effect where he made the giant ice sculpture of Jor-El come to life and fight Supergirl.
That's pretty cool.
It was pretty good. The effects are TV; they're not
Right.
movie, but pretty good looking.
Some of my favorites are Superman got him to write his name backwards once by having him chase him in this was in the Superman cartoon, having him chase him in like a little plane that makes the smoke that people write stuff in the sky with.
Oh, a Skywriter.
And so Superman flies in a way that he's chasing Superman, and then when he stops, he catches, he's like, I caught you, Superman, and then he points up and he looks and he made him spell it in the sky backwards. But my favorite is Bizarro, because Bizarro, every time, in some of the comics, like when Bizarro and Mixie encounter each other, Mixie's like, oh, Bizarro, I need you. But Bizarro is so stupid that he outsmarts him like that. Like, he'll be like, the only way is if you get me to say my name backwards, and you won't be able to do that, you big oaf. And then Bizarro will just, like, say, like, what is name? And he's like, says it, and he's like, what is name? And he'll like keep saying, then he'll just like end up screaming at him, my name is this! And he yells at him, he'll be like, oh, sorry. And because he says it backwards or something. But I love Bizarro the most. So.
Yeah, Bizarro's always a fun character.
He is hilarious.
I didn't like the Supergirl, Super Lady Bizarro.
Right, it's not as good. But...
Is there in the comics a female version of Bizarro?
Oh, there's
Bizarra.
There's Bat Zorro. There's a whole world of Bizarros that have been made.
Yeah,
in different renditions.
Bizarro's got to be the most tragic and yet like the funniest villain.
He's hilarious
because he's really funny in the fact that he says everything backwards and he's like
opposites. And
he thinks he's doing good and helping people.
He thinks he's Superman.
But the whole he's also really tragic because he's completely
unwanted.
Misguided, unwanted.
Well, that's why he's gone from being seen as this evil version, reverse Superman, to now more of a like.
He's a buffoon that accidentally breaks things.
He legitimately thinks he's on the Justice League when he says he's in the Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't mean it.
Grundy's sorry.
No, Grundy's
another one.
Grundy's evil, though, usually. But
yeah, but...
Because some renditions of Grundy are smarter. Where Grundy, when he actually has a brain, he knows what he's doing is evil. Bizarro thinks he's helping people.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I use fire breath, because he has all Superman's powers reversed.
You would think that would mean that he can't fly and he's super weak, though, right?
Yeah, that's the one that I always get. But he can... Well, some renditions...
He has ice vision and fire breath.
Some renditions of Bizarro that he can only jump really far. He can't fly.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, he's hilarious. The one is I have a book called Bizarro Comics, and it's like an anthology series where a bunch of them are drawn by different artists, not comic book artists, like different artists. So the cover is done by the Matt Groening, the Simpsons guy, and that stuff. Well, basically the premise is actually mixes Pitlick and summons Bizarro. In an attempt to get Superman, he accidentally gets Bizarro to be his champion to defeat this thing that's taking over all the different universes. And so Bizarro's like, I know how to distract him. And so in like the course of, he has like 30 minutes to prepare. So in his 30 minutes, he's like, I like comic books. So it's supposed to be that Bizarro wrote all these comic books that you're reading throughout the anthology series. And some of them are really stupid. But then you're like, oh, it's because Bizarro wrote them.
Ah, okay. Get a little fourth wall breaky there, huh?
It's actually a pretty funny book. But anyway, on to more geek news.
Yeah, didn't you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, the only things I wanted to touch on this week for me, I didn't do as much of geeky stuff as before. I will say that in terms of my New Year's resolution, I did not read any DC Rebirth books this week. However, next week I should be obtaining at least one, maybe two. I moved into a new apartment, so had to spend money on that.
Yeah, you've been very busy.
But I did have the chance to, over the past week, Pokemon Go, actually. I haven't talked about that in a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon Go, it's still a thing that people do. And it got an update, and they finally brought in the Gen 2 Pokemon.
Oh, okay, like Togepi.
Uh-huh.
And
Pichu.
Ho-Oh. And that little blue one.
Meryl. Lugia.
Meryl.
Yeah, Caesar.
Hang on, is that the same Meryl from The Walking Dead?
No, Meryl Streep.
Or is that Meryl?
Meryl Streep. Wobbuffet, all those good guys.
Everyone knows that Meryl Streep is just a Pokemon. And she's an overrated Pokemon. She only knows Harden.
Yeah, and she only has one of all form. But yeah, so and they also brought in like some other things, like different ways to evolve with like stones now and stuff, and some other features.
Didn't they have that before?
No, before you will just evolve them with candies. Like you got a certain number of candies. And
No, but you could have the only way you could evolve Pikachu is with a Thunderstone.
No, that's in the actual Pokemon game. In Pokemon Go, all of them evolve just by giving them
Oh,
candies.
right.
No.
I was thinking of the Pokemon game.
So they brought in stones now for Pokemon Go, because there's some Pokemon that have different forms, kind of like how Jolteon and Flareon, that sort of thing. Now, you can give them a stone and a candy to choose which one they evolve into, instead of it being kind of like a roll of the dice.
Well, at least in everyone but Jolteon, or Eevee's case, because you could name it. And
then that trick still works with Eevee, but I'm saying that
was the secret
for
that everybody knew.
For some of the other ones, they did that too. So I've been giving it a new try. Also because I don't really know any of the Gen 2 Pokemon, so I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I actually went to the Sprint store today to get a new phone, and I noticed on the door as I was walking in a Pokemon Go sign, and it said that they are partnered with Pokemon Go, and it's a exclusive Pokestop or whatever. And I was like, wow, guys, way to get on that. I didn't know about this Gen 2 thing, so I thought they were just getting into it now.
Right.
I was like, wow, that's really behind the gun. Like,
yeah.
No, I don't know anyone who's played Pokemon Go. Maybe I shouldn't say in months, because obviously the winter people aren't outside walking as much, but in a long time.
Right. Yeah, I must say it's not. I'm definitely not going to be doing it like as much as in the summer as I was, but it was fun to open the app again.
You know, it'd be funny if there was a Digimon Go app,
right?
But because you only get one,
right?
And it's just you walking around like fighting Digimon in the
David,
actual world.
Digimon.
But like because they actually talk, like if your phone was in your pocket and you'd hear Agumon like, "Hey Josh."
That is not an Agumon.
Josh!
Agumon goes, "Hey, Kai!"
Oh, that's right.
Kai, it's me, Agumon. I miss you, Kai. Digivolve to Greymon.
Greymon's like, let's fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, I'm at church right now.
Do you remember the flamboyant devil one? Devimon.
Oh, yeah.
Who was like, I'm going to kill you, Digimon.
You know, I think we've talked about this on the air once before, but do you remember the Digimon movie?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Do you remember...
The soundtrack was awesome.
Okay. Do you remember the... I don't know if he was the villain in the movie or if he was just the villain later in the... No, he was the villain later in the series, sorry. Who was not Devimon, but he was like a big red-looking devil.
Yeah, Devimon or something.
And the bottom part of his body was like...
Oh, I think actually at that point, I think he turned into Armageddonmon.
Like a squid-like thing.
Yeah,
or
but
something.
he had a kitchen sink on him.
Yeah, he had a hot and cold tap. He was like, I have become the ultimate evil.
Even concluded with a kitchen sink.
Hang on, with running hot and cold taps.
Japanese humor, man. I don't know. I don't get it.
Do they think that sinks are evil, or do they think it's evil to have separate hot and cold taps? It has to be in the same.
I'm gonna go.
The same sink.
I'm gonna go with that.
Faucet, I mean.
No, that's an allegory for the difference between good and evil.
The duality
of good and evil.
Yeah, the yin and the yang.
Yeah, the hot.
But he said he's become the ultimate evil. It should just be two hot taps.
No, it's the
taps.
the hot and cold, the Katy Perry song. He has all of it.
Ah, you're hot and you're cold and you're an evil Digimon overlord monster.
Who's old?
That's it.
All right. I think it's about time for the Geek of the Week.
Geek of the Week.
Chugga chugga dun dun.
Geek
of the Week. I feel like a lot of things have changed in this show. I feel like the number of sound effects has gone down.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I feel like for a while there...
The funny thing is that our episodes have also gotten shorter, so maybe we were just making way too many sound effects
bullshit. I feel like as the number of political references went up, the number of jokes and sound effects went down. Like, we were just really depressed. But you know what? Trump's America. Anyway, so this week's Geek of the Week is actually a group of biologists, okay? Led by Professor George Church and his team at Harvard University.
Oh, Harvard professor.
Of biology.
Is he a Dr. Church?
Yes.
Dr. Church. That sounds like a show.
Dr. Church.
Like House?
Well, would you like to hear why they are the Geek of the Week? Geeks of the Week?
Is it because he teaches at Harvard?
No.
Oh.
These guys, this is the thing. these dudes are working genetically to, and hear me out on this, bring back the woolly mammoth Jurassic Park style.
Please excuse me while I take a sip of my water. And what?
I know, right? So using elephant DNA and then DNA extracted from woolly mammoth fossils,
Semen.
They're going to inject an embryo.
Semen.
They're gonna fuck an elephant. They're gonna woolly mammoth fuck an elephant.
I'm having weird deja vu. Have we used the phrase "fucking elephant" on air before?
Probably, maybe not. I don't know. We can go back and look and see. But here's the craziest part. So they think that they'll be able to produce a living woolly mammoth elephant hybrid that has woolly mammoth features.
Yeah.
By 2019.
That's only 2 years away.
You can count.
That is wild.
Jurassic freaking Park.
Is that ethical?
Yeah, their reasoning to do it is that to be able to try and save elephant species and stuff.
By making them woolly?
By making them woolly. Well, Yoshi had a woolly world.
Yeah.
So elephants can have a woolly world too.
Yeah.
I didn't read the actual science.
Seems like mad science.
I thought so too. I read the interview with them and they say that their intentions are good. It's to fight like the elephant famine, that
Elephant
kind of stuff.
leukemia.
But and also like elephant rape. So like the woolly mammoths will protect the elephants from
There's
rape.
no elephant rape as a thing.
Yeah.
Elephants don't seem rapey.
They get raped by like crocodiles and stuff.
We shouldn't tell rape jokes on air.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Anyway, sorry, elephant listeners. But anyway, so for pulling a straight Jurassic Park, you are the Geek of the Week.
Yeah, no, that's fucking wild, dude. Yeah. Oh man, we're gonna have woolly mammoths.
Yeah,
Might have a woolly mammoth at the local zoo.
Well, no, we're not. Woolly mammoths live in like the Arctic and stuff.
Yeah, but they're not gonna like just. That was back when most of the world was the Arctic.
Is it just
They're not gonna just take woolly mammoths and let them loose in Antarctica.
Is mammoths the correct plural, or is it just woolly mammoth?
Is it mastodons?
Like a herd of deer? No, a mastodon something else.
I thought a mastodon was another word for mammoth, like bison and buffalo.
I don't know. A thundering herd.
Or bovine and... Is bovine the name of the animal? And then bull and cow are male and female?
Oh, I'm an idiot. I was about to say bovine and pig. That's something else.
No, that's porcine.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Anyway, that's quite a freaking tangent.
Yeah.
Well,
equine. That's a horse.
yes. All right. So moving on, I think it's about time for our main event. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, we're going to be discussing the top 5 odd pop culture duos.
Pop.
So let's start with
Number 5.
At number 5, I have Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones from Men in Black. Here come the Men in Black. Galaxy Defenders.
Fair enough.
Agent J and Agent K.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No, you aren't kidding.
I really wanted to make that joke.
Yeah, you did.
No, that's actually their names. So this is why I'm going to say that they're an odd duo. For one thing, so Agent, actually, I'm going to say Agent Tommy and Agent Will because I don't remember which one was which. But when the movie begins, and Frank, I've never seen the cartoon series, and I never saw number 3, and I don't remember number 2. So I'm just going on number 1.
That's fair enough.
Okay. So when we begin, Will Smith, wasn't he like a security guard or something?
He was a cop.
Okay.
He was NYPD.
But he
Remember, he goes, NYPD, that means I will knock your punk ass down.
Right.
Best line in the movie.
Yeah, but he is...
Because knock is spelled wrong.
Right, so he wasn't, fit for fighting aliens early on. But Tommy Lee Jones is, this seasoned bad cop agent that,
Yeah, he's the hard ass
right.
senior officer.
And Will Smith, coming from the NYPD, is kind of still as like the funny, like good cop of the duo.
He's the rookie.
But here's the thing. From some of the interactions we see out of Tommy Lee Jones in that movie, I think he might be a little prejudiced against aliens.
Oh, for sure.
I think he's a little alien racist.
Well, you would know better if you worked on the Force.
Yeah.
You don't really see what these aliens are up to.
Right. Build a intergalactic wall.
Living in their alien ghettos.
Right. But here's the thing.
Smoking their alien marijuana.
I'm just saying, in the world, there is a correlation between being prejudiced or racist against one group and being racist against other groups.
Oh yeah, no one just hates Jews.
Yeah.
They also hate blacks and gays and gypsies.
Mexicans.
Which, is gypsy a slur?
I don't know.
Romany. We'll call them Romanese.
I'm just saying, or even in, I mean, I guess if you don't like whites, you probably don't, I mean, that means you probably don't like Irish or Italian or...
Yeah, or if you are an atheist, you don't just hate Christianity.
Right, yeah, exactly.
You also hate Islam and you hate Judaism and Buddhism.
Right. And if you're me, you hate onions and peas and that kind of stuff. I was thinking like the VeggieTales versions, but I like to hate them in real life too. Anyway, but so here's the thing. I think that Agent Tommy Lee might be a little racist, and Will Smith is like buddy-buddy with him.
Let's be honest, though. That entire organization's a little bit racist.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a whole lot of aliens there, but, like, they're either working
the
for
secretaries
them, or they're being, like, processed.
Manipulated.
I mean, the whole place is run by Rip Torn, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, let's look at these fucking aliens.
Right. All I'm saying is, for being men in black, they most certainly probably would prefer to be all men that are white.
Men in white?
Men are white. So, that's why, to me, they're an odd duo.
Let's also talk about what their game plan is here. Not only do they police aliens, but they also do that civil asset forfeiture. He talks about how microwaves and Velcro came from alien technology that they sold to businesses, that's how they keep running.
Oh, civil forfeiture for sure. They're stealing. They're
the
straight
civil alien asset forfeiture.
And you know that
they're like, what the hell is this? Velcro? Is that some gleek glop alien word?
And here's the thing: aliens don't get due process, so they're acting as judge, jury, and often executioner.
Or I assume the majority of them probably just get deported
to whatever world they're from.
Yeah. Because you get the feeling that, like,
but
for an alien to live on Earth, like...
They killed that cockroach guy at the end.
But he was a terrorist.
No, yeah, that's true.
But,
whoa. An extremist.
Let's talk about how Tommy Lee Jones deals with that one alien pawn shop owner.
That's what I'm talking about.
He shoots him in the fucking head.
Yeah.
And he knew it would grow back, but that would be the same thing as tasing an informant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're causing them physical pain.
Oh, yeah.
To get what you want. That's torture.
And he wouldn't treat a human like that. It's just because he's an alien.
Yeah. He does that to him just because he's an alien.
I'm telling you, he's an alien racist, dude.
Yeah, he is an alien racist.
I'm surprised. I guarantee if we go back and watch that, he uses a few alien racial slurs.
Yeah, he probably does. He probably calls them, like, gleep glops.
Off-worlders.
Or glorbs.
Okay, yeah, so scruffy-looking nerf herders.
Yeah, you zappadoos.
All right, so I'm going to say that's my number 5 weirdest duo.
All right.
Just an odd coupling. Especially because Will Smith never really picks up on it.
Yeah, that is weird. Well, for my number 5, I'm actually going to be talking about 2 of your favorite people in the world. Batman and Robin.
They are.
Specifically, when we go back to the old, like, 1966 Batman.
Or even earlier than that.
Yeah, where Batman is a crime-fighting billionaire genius.
Playboy.
He's doing his thing. And then he takes on a young ward who, look, if you want to help out a kid who's an orphan and you can relate because you're also an orphan, that's fine. Then what you don't do is put him in a cute little brightly colored, easily targeted by a gun outfit and put him in front of criminals.
Okay, for start, hold on. My only thing, and I agree with you that from an objective outsider, it is odd. But to be fair, the suit, the kid picks the suit, and it's because he was a circus performer.
I get that, but
Batman should have vetoed it.
Batman should have said, no, I wear black because it's nighttime when we're doing stuff. If you're wearing bright colors, you're a target.
And for Christ's sake, wear some pants.
B, wear some goddamn pants. C, let's put some bulletproof plating on you because I don't want you to get hurt because you're a child. Also, we're not doing this anymore. You're a child. I just remembered I'm fucking Batman.
And everybody can see your face behind the domino mask. You're not fooling anybody.
He goes, I don't need your help. I'm Batman.
Okay.
So why bring a child? I mean, I can understand recruiting another adult, maybe someone who was an ex-Navy SEAL,
right?
But a small child?
Well, and you think later on, I'm glad you specified it was back in the day, because later on you see, okay, the Robins each provide something to Batman in the more contemporary stories. Like Tim Drake is considered, the third Robin is considered one of the smartest people in the DC universe, period.
Yeah.
Even more so, Batman straight up says, someone's like, oh, well, Tim Drake will be the greatest detective of all time. And Bruce goes, no, he is the greatest detective. Batman straight up calls him
And
that.
Damian Wayne, even though he's like the youngest Robin, he was raised by freaking assassins.
Yeah, he's a trained killer.
So he does have skills. But still, you would think that Batman would be like, well, no, I'm not going to put you in an opportunity where you will have bloodlust.
Right, and they updated.
I'm going to send you to a boarding school.
Right, and they updated Dick Grayson even that Batman trained him. Like, you know, he was trained before he just went out there and started fighting crime. Like,
oh, you mean it wasn't like how it is in Batman Forever, where Dick Grayson just figures out that Batman is Batman?
and that he's a master vigilante now. So yeah, but that being said, I will say, particularly some of those older panels where, you know, Batman, Bruce and Dick are like waking up in bed together. They're like, all right, let's have a healthy breakfast.
Or
before
the
we
classic
go out.
one where Batman is slapping Robin across the face.
Oh yeah, well that happened. And there's
The meme.
It's funny because in Frank Miller's All-Star Batman, that's where a lot of people hated that book because there's a scene where he like is like kind of abusive to Robin and he's like, I'm the goddamn Batman, and that's where that phrase comes from.
And I think that's where that panel that's become a meme is. Where
Well,
there's
one of it. There's an old like from like the 60s of Batman, like a Batman slap kind of one. But this is from like the 2000s. This one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, okay. So that's your number 5, huh?
That's my number 5.
All right, let's hear about number 4.
Number 4.
All right, for me, my number 4, I'm gonna go with, and it's actually funny. You guys can't see this, but Ben happens to be wearing this duo on his T-shirt as we speak. I'm gonna go with Nintendo fan favorite Mario and his little dinosaur buddy Yoshi.
Oh yeah.
So this is why I think Mario and Luigi, if someone was going to say, oh, they're an odd duo, not really. They're brothers and they have the same
They're in the same line of business.
They're in the same line of work, and they dress differently so you can identify which one is which.
I assume
even though
their father was also a mustachioed, blue-eyed gentleman.
They're not an odd duo, but they're just a duo in odd circumstances.
You know, they're those classic blue-eyed Italians.
Right, yeah. But Mario and Yoshi is a strange pairing. So an Italian plumber whose pet and companion is a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And he routinely subjugates this dinosaur to his needs. Mm-hmm. He allows the dinosaur to die all the time, and then
just to get to a higher ledge,
and just to pick up a new dinosaur. He doesn't really give a shit about Yoshi exactly.
He punches him so that Yoshi will eat his enemies, and then painfully shit out an egg that's the size of a toddler.
And biologically doesn't make any sense.
You know that noise that Yoshi makes, that is a pain noise.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the fact that Yoshi and Yoshi's clan got Mario as a baby and saved him and raised him.
What I was going to say,
presumably.
Mario should have like God-ending loyalty. That's not a phrase, is it?
God-ending? Yes. His loyalty will end the gods.
Yeah. God-ending like everything. No, like
never-ending?
Yeah, I was thinking like goddamn never-ending.
God-ending. I want to start using that in conversation.
All right, anyway, just like the loyalty to the max.
God-ending
loyalty for Yoshi, because he saved him as a baby.
Yeah, and
in multiple games.
And Yoshi had to put up with that.
Yeah, you can stop.
He just wanted to let that bubble float off.
Yeah, I did multiple times when I played the game.
But instead, he takes one of those painfully shit out eggs and throws it like like Derek Jeter.
And I'm just saying, so many times.
Does Derek Jeter pitch?
No.
He throws it like A-Rod.
Maybe.
I don't follow baseball at all.
I don't know the Yankees. I don't give a shit about.
He throws it like a baseball pitcher.
We're gonna get a lot of shit.
He throws it like Tom fucking Brady.
There you go, better. But yeah, the other thing that gets me is when you hop off Yoshi, what's the first thing he does? He doesn't sit there and wait for you. He runs. He runs.
And
he runs to his death. He will run straight off a cliff to get the fuck away from Mario.
You're right.
He knows that that's an abusive relationship. So
he's willing to lemming his ass just to get away.
For me, number 4, Mario and Yoshi.
That's a pretty good call. All right, for my number 4. I'm going to be talking about a duo from a film series or a film franchise that I think is actually quite funny in its own dumb way. It's not like earth-shattering or anything, but it's the classic buddy cop film Rush Hour.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at you. I just clicked my phone for 1 second just to check something, and what came up was still I had it on the picture of cousin Skeeter.
Oh.
just seeing like this happy family with that puppet there cracked me up. All right, not cousin Skeeter.
I'm here to talk about Cousin Skeeter.
All right, Rush Hour. Let's hear it.
Cousin Skeeter's a pretty weird pairing on its own.
It is.
But yes, I'm here to talk about the movie Rush Hour, where Inspector Lee, played by Jackie Chan, and Detective James Carter, played by Chris Tucker. Now, here you have your classic breakdown of good, like hard-edge cop and wisecracking law-breaking cop, right? Or bend the rules cop. You know what I mean? You got your straight man and you got your funny man, right? Now, here's the thing that makes these two different than others. One of them is a black guy and one of them is a Chinese guy. That's it. That's the whole thing. Yep. It was like the producer, which was a old white guy, or the director or whatever, was like, what would be funny? What if we had a black and a Chinaman do a movie together?
Yeah.
That's
throwing a lot of those racial jokes, too.
Yeah.
Have them go to each other's places. Yeah. Like, have them go to Chinatown for a little bit, and then Harlem.
Yeah. Oh, here's an idea.
Compton.
Here's what we do. We'll make the Chinaman. We'll make him a good kung fu fighter because he's Chinese, and they all are. And then we'll have the black guy be really loud because he's black, and they all are.
Wait, they all are? Okay, who are we gonna cast? Jackie Chan. He's the only one I know.
You never touch a black man's radio.
Yeah, of course not. My cab driver told me that.
And of course, Chris Tucker was like, I want to be in your movie.
Yeah, and Jackie Chan was like, I am very popular right now.
Yeah. God, I miss Jackie Chan.
Well, I don't know. What's he up to these days?
He's old.
They were a weird duo. I mean, it's a funny movie, and their chemistry's pretty good.
Yeah. And the fight choreography, like in any Jackie Chan movie, is fantastic.
Right.
I wish we still had that kind of Hong Kong action style movie. We don't really get too often. John Wick is like, and movies like that are an exception.
Right. I think that it's just very, like, half that movie I felt was just like Chris Tucker going, Lee!
Yeah.
Lee!
Come on, Lee! When he does that, I don't know if that was in the first one or the second one, where he does the Michael Jackson bit on stage.
And then they had...
I think that was in the second one because they were in China.
Oh, that'd be really funny if we get Jackie Chan to sing a rap song. Let's do that one time.
Let's make Jackie Chan do the rap song and make him sway back and forth. Oh, and you know what? Let's make Chris Tucker sing, I don't know, Michael Jackson.
Did Jackie Chan say the N-word in that one? He did, right?
Oof, does he?
Doesn't he call someone like to his, like he hears him say it to a friend?
That's
and then
right.
He does it
with a smile on his face.
He says the N-word in that movie. Okay, that's a funny joke, but it's kind of ridiculous.
Hang on. That is so good. Like, to see with a big smile on his face because he doesn't know that it's offensive.
Right.
Yeah, actually that. Well, and the funny side note of that, apparently the word nega in China is like their
like Nega.
Yeah, it's like the word they use to just fill empty space. They'll be like, "Oh, check out nega." Like that's the word they use to like fill empty space.
So maybe Jackie was confused.
That's funny.
Thank you for that.
It's dumb. And it's just a cultural thing. It wasn't a racial thing at all.
Number 3.
On to number 3.
All right, my number 3 is another video game duo. I'm going to go with Banjo and Kazooie.
Yeah.
Another Nintendo... well, it wasn't... I think it's Rare that made them or something, but it was a Nintendo platform.
Yeah.
So, Banjo and Kazooie are an interesting and kind of odd coupling. One is a bear, a brown, like, muscular bear, and the other is a little red bird that hides in his backpack. They live together, and here's the thing. Banjo is a male bear. Kazooie is a female red little bird. They go on vacations to the beach together. They live together, and Kazooie, the whole point is like Banjo's sister gets kidnapped, and Kazooie's like, oh, we have to go save your sister, Banjo.
Is that the plot of that game?
Something like that, yeah. But here's the thing, I think they're fucking. I think Banjo fucks the bird.
And then when he's not doing so, he keeps it locked up in his...
Yeah, like, I think Kazooie might be his sex life. because he keeps
that
keeps
is
Kazooie in the
uncomfortable.
backpack, makes Kazooie like, hey Kazooie, I need you to fly for me, or like Kazooie, we're doing this, I need you to be my propeller while we're swimming underwater. But like, I think it might also be like, Kazooie, I have an itch.
Come over here and give me a bird.
Like, I have an itch on my leg. I need you to scratch it with your beak in your hand, like your wing. Like, I think Kazooie's is Banjo's sex toy.
Like if you put in the right code, you would get a different idle animation where Kazooie's head just comes out and starts going down towards Banjo's dick.
Maybe, and it makes me uncomfortable. So I'm gonna have to go with that and Banjo. There's actually a funny, I think Dorkly or one of them did a video where Banjo like sees Kazooie's name on like the milk carton, like the missing child, and then just like throws it out.
I did see that.
So I'm gonna go with Banjo and Kazooie's kind of an odd coupling.
Yeah, that if it's not sexual, then it's at least held against one's will.
Right. And we're not condoning any of that kind of behavior. So Banjo, screw you.
Yes, of course. The Strong and the Geek would like to take a strong stance against sexual slavery.
Public service announcement. All right, go ahead.
All right, for my number 3, I'd like to talk about a cartoon pairing from the Disney world that I think is bizarre, and that's Aladdin and Abu.
Yeah, this is a strange one.
Okay, if you have a pet monkey, that's fine.
Well,
except that type of monkey, I don't think that type of monkey is like from that area.
That's okay. That's what I'm saying. Aladdin's supposed
to be like a tree-based monkey.
Aladdin's supposed to be from Saudi Arabia, right?
So yeah, either that or like Iran or
maybe Iran. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not like jungle monkeys. Although he looks like a South American monkey.
Yeah. Aladdin, where'd you come across that monkey?
Yeah.
Also, let's point something out here. And I know it's been pointed out before, but Aladdin is a poor street rat.
Yes.
No shoes on his feet.
Orphan.
Holes in his pants.
Stealing apples.
Stealing bread.
Also, do they grow apples in Saudi Arabia?
They must have boated them in from somewhere.
Okay.
Okay, so he has a pet monkey that he is taught to steal.
Yes.
Which is a bad thing to do for a monkey.
Yes.
Teach it to do crimes.
Yeah, and if you taught the monkey to go up and like look at someone and ask, people will give monkeys food.
Okay, now here's the weird part.
Yeah, I know where you're...
Follow me on this.
I know where this is going.
Aladdin wears a little vest and a little hat.
And big baggy pants.
Did he go to a tailor and have that tailor make a little matching outfit for his pet monkey?
You know, I always wonder this because, like... That's very, like, bizarre behavior.
It's a really particular... Or, strike that. Did Aladdin dress to match his monkey? Like
That's it.
Did he get the monkey? Was the monkey like a little organ grinder? Because it's kind of that little vest and the hat. And he was like, "Oh, I love that. I'm gonna go get an outfit so I can dress like my monkey."
He stole the monkey from someone. Oh God. Okay, no.
He stole Abu.
Listen.
He kidnapped Abu and then had a tailor make him an outfit to match his little monkey suit. Or he took the only amount of money he could possibly have as a street urchin, and instead of feeding himself, or I don't know, investing in, he bought monkey clothes.
He invested in a monkey vest. Okay, here's the thing. People buy their pets clothes all the time, and it is what it is. But if you're buying your pet matching clothes as you, that's unusual. I can only think of one person who listens to the show, as a matter of fact, and will know who I'm referring to, who may or may not buy clothes for his dog that would match him. But other than that one guy who's listening right now, I couldn't imagine anybody be like, "Oh yeah, you know what would be really cool if my monkey had a matching vest and little hat." What do you call this kind of fez hats?
Yeah, it's like a little fez. Okay, so not only...
Hold on, I really like your... No, it's definitely the other way around.
You think he got a monkey, he stole a monkey that had a little organ grinder costume.
So cute.
And was like, I've been walking around my whole life just wearing baggy pants. Yeah. I should at least put on a vest.
For some reason,
to cover up my non-nipples.
For a second, I thought that maybe Abu wore pants, but he doesn't.
He doesn't.
All right.
No, it'd be even worse if they were exactly one-to-one dressed the same.
It'd be hilarious.
Now, here's the other thing about it. It's a thing that has to be pointed out. Aladdin...
That should have been your number one.
Aladdin allows the genie to perform body horror on poor Abu. He stretches and
Turns him into an
transforms his
elephant.
body into an elephant.
Into an elephant.
Can you imagine going from being a tiny little monkey to an elephant all of a sudden?
But doesn't he make the elephant still wear the hat and the vest?
Yes, he does.
He can't get over
it's
that.
so the audience can remember who he is.
But even when he becomes the valiant prince in all of his clothes, did the elephant get like valiant clothes or no?
No, he's just wearing a bigger version of the vest, and maybe those are attached to him. And Aladdin was
sewed them on.
Aladdin could never take them off, so he decided to get some. Or Aladdin sewed them to the monkey.
Aladdin was like, "You're gonna look like me forever, Abu. Like I can't afford anything else, so neither can you." Just sewed it on. He never takes it off. I think he might take the hat off.
And here's the thing.
It's weirder as we talk about it.
Aladdin steals food because he's got to eat, whatever. But Abu's got a problem. Like, think about when they go into the Cave of Wonders, or when they capture them and he goes and takes it, and all the gold and treasure fall out. Like, that's a little kleptomonkey.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And monkeys aren't born with that behavior.
No, that is Aladdin. Aladdin did that to him. So there you have it, number 3.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, time for number 2.
Number 2.
So for me, number 2 is from the Cartoon Network, old 90s, early 2000s cartoon, Cow and Chicken.
Ooh.
So this is why Cow and Chicken are my number 2 oddest pop culture duo. They're brother and sister, biological brother and sister,
yes.
Even though they are different species.
And their parents are a different species.
Their parents are walking legs, just legs.
Yeah, we do at one episode see above the waistline, and they're just legs.
For the first season,
they're just disembodied voices.
It was the legs and the voices, but then we got to finally see their upper half, and they're just legs.
Yeah.
That means a pair of legs fell in love with another pair of legs. They scissored, and then out of one of the pair of legs came a cow and a chicken.
Yeah.
And the cow has superpowers.
But only when she goes into Spanish mode.
It puts on her...
And
it was her uniform, remember? Like, if she put her uniform on.
Also, let's not forget the fact that they're hounded by...
The devil.
The devil.
Who doesn't wear pants.
Oh, they call him the red guy?
The red guy, yeah. But he was the devil. But
and he's like a really flamboyant.
Yes.
Like, isn't it funny that I'm gay?
Yeah. It was really unusual that we've seen a gay devil before, South Park, but
Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Him.
Yeah, him.
That's like a transgender devil.
Yeah. But seeing the red butt gay devil go after, that should be the name of a sports team. Like the Red
Butt Gay Devils.
Yes.
Like Red Butt is the name of a city.
Yeah, like the Red Butt Gay Devils. Copyright. Strong Geek.
Or hang on. No, that's not right. Because that means the name of the town is Red Butt and the name of the team is the Gay Devils.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the name of the town must be like Red Butt Gay.
No. The name of the town is Red Butt and their mascot is the Gay Devils. That's not offensive, right?
No, probably.
Whatever, fuck it. No, but so the thing is that he's going around chasing Cow and Chicken, who have their whatever interspecies thing going on. They sometimes interact well and love each other, but Chicken's kind of abusive to Cow.
Yeah, Chicken's a real dick.
But Cow just wants Chicken's love. And the mom and dad.
It's really a Dexter Dee
But
relationship.
it was like that only if the creator smoked a bag of meth.
Yeah.
Like, that show had a lot of meth involved.
Yeah. I feel like they were like, let's rewrite Dexter's Lab, but let's just make everything fucking weird.
I'm just saying, I remember watching that show when I was 9 and feeling somewhere guilty, feeling bad that I was watching it.
That also gave us IR Baboon and I Am Weasel, right?
Now, they're an awesome
Wasn't that part of the same show?
And then it had a spin-off. But they're an awesome duo. They're not on this list because they're sweet. Yeah. Chicken and Cow.
And the truth is, you don't need pants for the victory dance.
No. Baboons are better than Weasel. So yeah, that's my take. Chicken and Cow. You could throw Red Butt Devil in there too.
Red Butt Gay Devils. That's a good one. All right, for my number 2, I'm doing another Disney cartoon film. This one is Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket. So here's the thing. Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket are weird because they're both sentient beings that shouldn't be, right? And one of them, we get this big explanation. The blue, Geppetto, he makes this wooden doll, and oh, how I wish I could have a little boy of my own. I love him so much. Oh, I'm gonna go to sleep now.
Why didn't Geppetto find a wife?
Because he's Geppetto. Because he's the
No,
guy.
no, wait, hold on,
He's
hold
the
on,
guy
hold
that
on.
has 800 cuckoo clocks in his house, and they all go off at once. And then he pulls out his pocket watch and says, "I wonder what time it is."
Did he really do
That's
that?
an actual scene in the movie. Like they all go off, and 10 seconds later, he pulls his pocket watch out.
So Geppetto's a recluse.
This is the guy that made the cuckoo clock of the woman slapping her son on the behind.
Oh yeah.
This movie's really fucking
I thought
weird.
Geppetto was a puppet maker, not a clock maker.
He makes things out of wood.
He's a wood guy.
Yeah, he's got a lot of wood.
Okay.
So he then makes Pinocchio and
Also out of wood.
prays to God or nature or whatever that this thing could be a real boy.
Now he wishes upon a star.
And I really hope it's not a sex thing, but I kind of think it is. And then he goes to bed, and then this fairy shows up and brings Pinocchio to life, but on conditions.
Yeah.
Like, he comes to life, and he's like, "I'm a real live person." And
Well,
she
no,
goes,
you're not.
"Nah,
You're still a puppet, you little asshole.
no."
You gotta earn it.
Yeah, you gotta. Here's the thing: he didn't ask to be alive. Geppetto should have to do the trials.
Yeah. Anyway.
But she's like, you need to prove that you're, what did she say? Kind and unselfish and brave.
That reminds me of like when Tony the Tiger goes like, "Earn your stripes."
Yeah. but in this case, it's not like he's alive 30 seconds, and she's like, "No, you little shithead."
If you think about it, like that means she created him with the knowledge of like good and evil and all this kind of stuff. It should be like he wakes up and's like, "Who am I?" Like,
Yeah.
not know anything.
And then she's like, "Oh, you're gonna have some difficulty in your day. I know, I'll just pluck this cricket out of the ether, put him in a little waistcoat and top hat, and make him be your conscience." And he's like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Oh, you know what, dude? That same bitch gave Aladdin his monkey and put the coat on him, and Aladdin thought it was so cool he wanted one.
It's just so bizarre. And then he has to go out on his little adventure
Did
to
they ever
prove
explain
that
what-
he's good, and Jiminy Cricket's supposed to be his conscience, but literally we have Jiminy Cricket being like, "Oh, I should go tell Geppetto." No, wait, that would be snitching. He looks into the camera and says, "That would be snitching." Like, you're his conscience.
Now here's my thing.
You're supposed to be looking out for him.
If Pinocchio has a hard time being a real boy, but aren't there like sentient foxes walking around?
Yeah, he gets picked up by the fabulous Mr. Fox.
That's never explained, is it?
No, and there's no comeuppance for the fox.
Okay, you know that
Smiling John, I want to say his name
something,
was.
but you know that fairy bitch brought him to life too.
Absolutely.
She totally did.
And then she was like, "Oh
No, she brought him alive. Dude, holy shit. It's like a Jesus allegory. She brought him alive to test him, to see if Pinocchio would be good.
that he's the devil in the wilderness."
Yeah.
Well, he does not stay away from temptation. Then he absolutely goes. They go to that weird, creepy town.
I'm not saying Pinocchio's Jesus. I'm saying it's like a tempting
Yeah,
thing.
we go to that weird, creepy town where the guy's just like, "Oh,
No,
yes,
wait, no. For
smoke
the
all the
record,
cigars you want."
Pinocchio's not Jesus.
Yeah, Pinocchio's not Jesus. We want to put that out there.
Yeah.
That he goes to the Pleasure Town, I think is what it was
then they
called,
become
which is totally just like a kid rape place.
And they turn into donkeys.
yeah, they again inflicting body horror. Disney, the fuck,
And
man.
here's the thing: if humans had the power, like the potion they were giving them to turn little boys into donkeys, you know, there's a fucking potion to turn puppets into boys. Geppetto should have been able to obtain that potion, or no, they reversed it because they were reversing, turning some of the donkeys back into boys. Why the fuck did Geppetto just get a donkey and turn the
Yeah.
donkey into a boy? Save like 12 steps.
Well, and the thing is, like, he's supposed to prove that he's kind and unselfish and brave. And what happens? His friend starts to turn into a donkey, and he's yelling, "Help, help, call the police." And Pinocchio's like, "Fucking out of here."
Yeah.
He takes off as he's growing ears and a tail. He ties him to a rock and throws himself into the ocean? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah,
Is that how he proves he's brave? By committing suicide? Weird message, Disney.
getting swallowed by a whale or something.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. He runs into...
Are his-
Geppetto is in the belly of a whale. So Geppetto was like, "Oh no, my son's missing. What do I do? I know, I'll go out to sea."
Yeah.
Maybe he's out at sea.
Well, doesn't he hear that he's on the island? That Pinocchio's on the island?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Also, were Pinocchio's ears that he grew, are they wooden?
No, they are donkey ears.
On a wooden puppet?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we need to do an episode just on like flaws in Pinocchio.
Pinocchio is a really weird film.
It's a weird one.
Also, last point, Geppetto wakes up in the morning, finds that not even wakes up in the morning, wakes up in the middle of the night to find that his puppet has come to life. He has a real son. First of all, he doesn't have an old man heart attack. Second, he's like, okay, now you need to go to sleep because you have school in the morning. Are you shitting me? You prayed to have a kid, and now the first thing that you're gonna do is send him away for 8 hours? Like, you think he would take the first day off to be like, here, let me show you around town and teach you about things and remind everyone that I'm not a pedophile and that I have a son now. You know what I mean? Because people are just gonna assume that he's doing something weird when he shows up and has a real boy. You know what I mean? Instead, it's so weird.
Oh, maybe he adopted.
Like, what happens? No, but come on. Yeah. No one, he's just like, this is my son now.
Well,
imagine the story. I made a puppet out of wood, and I prayed, and a fairy came down and brought him to life. And the boy's like, yep, that's exactly what happened. And they're like, oh, he's brainwashed this poor boy.
They're like, isn't this weirdo who doesn't ever know what time it is? Like... All right, moving on.
Geppettophile.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Hashtag Geppettophile. So I think that takes us to number one.
Number one.
All right. So my number one is also a Disney duo.
Okay.
That probably won't have as much fodder as Pinocchio and Geppetto, the cricket.
Geppetto.
Oh, it's Pinocchio Geppetto?
No, it's Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket. It's the weird thing because, well, yeah, both of them are weird. Right. But for me, it was Jiminy Cricket because Jiminy Cricket was just a bug that she brought to life, not only to supplant him in the story, or not supplant, but to support him in the story for no reason.
Right. So hear me out here for my number one. Did you say it?
Number one.
Thank you. Mickey the Mouse is an anthropomorphic mouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
All his buddies, anthropomorphic animals, right?
Absolutely.
Except one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Pluto, his dog friend.
He's a dog.
Pete, the dog.
Pete's a cat.
Pete's a cat?
Pete's a cat.
I thought Pete was a dog.
No, Pete's a big cat.
Oh, really?
Goofy's a dog.
Well, either way, Max, dog. We see the entire Goofy movie, we see other dogs.
Yeah, we see plenty of dogs.
Yeah. You sure they're not dogs, too?
What, Pete?
Yeah.
No, Pete's a cat.
Oh. Anyway, but there's one dog that's Mickey's closest companion.
Yeah, and that's Pluto.
Is Pluto.
You said Pluto already.
No, I did?
Yeah, you did.
I didn't notice. But anyway, Mickey and Pluto are best buds, Mouse's best friend. But here's I think Mickey uses that line plenty of times.
But he's a legit dog.
He is a dog in a world where all animals that we see are sentient.
Yeah.
Except birds. I think birds are birds.
There are little Tweety birds flapping around.
And I think fish too. But we don't see
all mammals are
sentient.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. BoJack Horseman would make a good joke about this.
Absolutely.
But with the chickens that they eat and stuff. Mickey doesn't. So here's what's going on here. I hate to continue talking about subjugation of characters, but Mickey definitely had a dog friend who was born without the cognitive ability of all the other dogs, and so he decided to put a leash on him and keep him as his cuddly little buddy.
That is what is happening here. It's either that or, to give it a real-world equivalent, some people have pet monkeys. Right. You know what I mean? So maybe Pluto is just like a species that's less evolved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm thinking this is either. I want to hope that it's just that maybe there are dogs, like regular dogs.
Yeah, but we only know one of them.
And there might be regular cats, like sometimes.
Because I know we also have dogs and cats and stuff on. Oh yeah, because there's Figaro. Figaro, that little fucking cat.
So there are little cats.
That's
too.
Minnie's cat.
Right.
Which is also the cat in Pinocchio.
Okay.
That they brought in to be Minnie's cat. At least that's on the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I don't know if that's canon.
You know a lot about this.
I watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse with my kids.
All right,
there are other little dogs in that every now and again, but they're not like main characters.
So this is just the glaring thing for me. But over the history of the show.
Yeah, if we're going back to basics, like what I did with Batman and Robin.
It was just Pluto and Mickey.
Mickey and Pluto.
But all these other animals and hanging out and stuff, which makes me wonder, did Mickey chain up a disabled
Yeah.
character and not let him wear any clothes.
It does feel that way, doesn't it?
So for me, that's the number one oddest duo.
Yeah. Oh, and I said mammals only, but I totally forgot about Donald Duck.
Oh yeah. So there
Daisy.
are foul or excluded.
There are certain foul.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that is really bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, there's other ones like who the hell is Donald's dad, but we know Scrooge is his uncle. Like, and Huey, Dewey, and Louie are Donald's nephews. Who's their dad, mom? There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions in the Duck family.
Yes, the Duckburgs.
Yeah.
Here in Duckburg.
Ducktail.
But I will say that Mickey and Pluto always made me feel a little confused.
Yeah, that one is weird. So let me get on to my number one. Number one. Okay. So I'm a big fan of the Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
I've watched the movies. I've read all the books. I'm a huge fan. There's one thing in this that's I can't overlook how weird it is. So Ron Weasley has a pet rat named Scabbers.
Scabbers.
And they talk throughout the first couple books about how Scabbers is an old rat. He's so freaking old. He's older than any rat should be and still be healthy. He's weird in the way he behaves sometimes. He's missing a couple fingers from one of his little rat hands. And you, as a reader, have no inclination. You just think he's a rat that because he's magic in some way, he's lived a long life.
Right.
You never have any inclination that secretly, you learn after 2.5 books or 2 3/4 books that Scabbers is an old man named Peter Pettigrew.
Who's been hiding the whole time.
There is a adult man who's taken the form of a little rat and been living in a boy's sock drawer for like a decade.
And you know he's watching when Ron...
Yeah, Ron's like a 12 or 13-year-old boy.
When
he's just discovering himself.
When Ron casts Leviosa on his penis,
yeah,
Scabbers is watching it.
Scabbers is in the back, and he's like, "What is he doing? What is he doing?"
You know what? Hold on. This episode took kind of like a dark turn.
This is pretty blue.
We've been talking a lot about pedophiles.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Odd pairings point out gross shit.
That's true.
That we're supposed to think is innocent, but let's be honest. Scabbers isn't doing this, or Peter Pettigrew isn't doing this because he has some grand master plan to, like, steal from the Weasleys or whatever. He's just in hiding.
Yeah.
So he could just go be a rat anywhere.
Right.
Instead, he chooses to stay in this boy's room and, like, in his pocket when he's walking around and the pockets of his robes, smelling his little boy body as it starts to change. It's weird, man.
It's really weird.
And here's the thing. Think about it. First of all, when Peter Pettigrew turns back in, he's like, yes, let's kill him. Especially that Ron Weasley boy. He's jerking off in front of me.
Yeah.
But how much harder is it the other way around? Think about poor Ron Weasley and, like... that's going to fuck him up the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah.
To figure out that your family pet was secretly an old man.
Yep.
He's going to be walking around and be like, looking at animals and be like, what if that's secretly an old man?
Yeah. Oh, and I'm surprised his first thing to do wouldn't go and fucking murder Hermione's cat.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
This bitch was trying to kill him for a reason. It wanted to kill Scabbers because it was another witch or something.
Or just because that cat was like, that's a fucking old man.
Yeah, the cat knew. He should have trusted the cat.
Should have trusted the cat. Now, here's the thing. Imagine now when he's an adult and he has kids and they're like, hey, can we get a dog?
Daddy,
and he's
can
like,
we get a doggy?
No. And he's just staring off into the middle distance out a window. We get that
Drunk.
that reflection shot where you see him from the back and he's holding a scotch and you see his reflection in the mirror. No, and he's like,
never again.
Scabbers.
No, just no.
Fucking Scabbers.
Never again.
And the kids are like, why can't we have a dog? And he just accidentally breaks the scotch glass in his hand. And he's like, I said no, god damn it!
No rats in this house!
And Hermione's like, it's okay, kids.
Let me tell you a story.
Let me tell you a story about the time that it turns out your father had been masturbating in front of an old man for 3 years.
With little to no inclination, because it was a rat.
Also, that rat was in his pocket when he was in school and would get random boners looking at the back of Hermione's head or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, think about all the weird things that happen to a boy going through puberty.
And listen, okay, it's being an adult listening to children's talk at first is cute, but for hours upon hours of it, it gets pretty fucking annoying. Okay, so let's be honest. He was saying like, "Oh, Harry, did you get the new Poke Master Wizard cards? Let's play a game. Oh, let's watch Scabbers watch. Scabbers, let me put a Pinocchio vest on you or something." Like, he's like, "God damn it, every dog gets its day."
You know what? I would love to see a rewrite of Harry Potter where, like, in the middle of book 3, right before we figure out the Peter Pettigrew Scabbers thing, there's just a moment where Ron is doing something and Peter Pettigrew's like, for fuck's sake! And just stands up. It's like, I'm done! I've been listening to your weird ginger ass for years! And just walks out.
I'm going to Malfoy's house.
Just walks out of the room on 2 legs, and they're like, the fuck was that?
Scabbers, wait.
Hang on, is Scabbers magic?
Yes.
Yes. No, I'm saying is that would be the line.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I would just like to see like a shot-for-shot remake of the first 3, but through Scabbers' perspective.
So it's just him like inside a pair of pants.
But like with the guy who played Peter Pettigrew like narrating it, like, first day at Hogwarts, not this fuckhole again. And like it's just Scabbers in the pocket pull up like a mini flask, like drink, like just all.
Oh man. He's trying to make his weird little hand missing fingers give him the middle one.
Like,
or I guess no, the English they do the peace sign thing.
Do you
right?
think Scabbers fucked any girl rats? Because that was totally Peter Pettigrew committing bestiality. So we've knocked off all the pedophilia, bestiality, rape. Like, this has just been really bad.
Yeah, there's a weird question brought up there, isn't there? If you are an animagus and you hook up with an animal, is that bestiality if you're in animal form when you do it?
Well, why would you be attracted to the animal?
I don't know, dude. I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying if you can turn into a dog, do you then be like, is your anatomy dog-like? You know what I mean? So you smell a dog and it makes you horny or whatever.
I think it's kind of like you have to... I don't know.
I mean, either way, it's rape because an animal can't consent to sex.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna plead the fifth on this one. I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh my god! This episode got so weird.
On that note, I think that's gonna about do it for the Strong and the Geek. This is episode 40, ladies and gents. We really have evolved over the past year.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go make myself a neat little vest and hat. And while I'm doing that, you guys can catch us on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Twitter, at Ben Ramirez, at RamResReprez.
Since this week's the Oscars, I decided to turn the music on to make it.
Wrap it up. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. Make sure you stay strong.
And you stay geek. I did it to the beat.
Yeah.
Strong and the geek. Oh, strong and the geek. Strong and the geek. Welcome to the post-credits scene. Oh boy! So, everybody, I beat my dog over the head and it stopped thinking, so I decided to make him my pet and tell everybody, he was just born that way.
I wish you wouldn't have done that to my baby brother.
Oh, Goofy, fuck you! I mean, Doofy?
Yeah, I'm non-copyrighted character Doofy, Mr. Nicholas Mouse.
You mean Mickey Mouse?
Well, I didn't think we were really on nickname basis.
So, it's me, Mickey Mouse, and I'm also here with my friend, Pinocchio. Hey, Pinocchio, aren't you a real boy yet?
I wish I was a real boy, but that Geppetto never sculpted me with genitals.
You mean Geppetto?
Geppetto never sculpted my wooden genitals, so when I became a real boy, still no genitals. Shut up, Abu, put on your vest.
You mean Babu?